Hi, I'm Jeff, Customer Success Manager at GoPinLeads, here with your live webinar, Better Outbound Sales with GoPinLeads. I'm going to leave you here with this, and I apologize for that glitch. I'm going to let you explore this opening page here while I wait for a few more attendees to join our webinar today. The whole point of our webinar today is using GoPinLeads and a few other tools to boost your sales, getting better outbound sales with GoPinLeads. Okay, we are now 3 minutes past the hour. Let's begin our webinar. For those of you who have just joined us, our topic today is getting better outbound sales with GoPinLeads. All right, diving straight in, we have the question that drives the entire webinar today. Why email growth marketing? This is an incredibly important question, and the reason is that we have incredible data on this. Email is almost 40 times more effective than Facebook and Twitter combined in helping a business acquire new customers. That is an absolutely powerful number. 40 times more effective than Facebook and Twitter combined. It's a very, very potent and often untapped source of leads. Email marketing boasts a median return on investment of 122% as well. We're in the position here where we're on the edge of using a tool system that is going to revolutionize your sales, and it's going to help you boost your ROI astronomically. Before I continue here, I want to draw your attention first to the fact that if you are watching on our live webinar page, you can go ahead and use the YouTube toggle within the YouTube browser window that will allow you to launch the webinar in YouTube itself. Doing this is for the best because then you'll be able to ask questions and see the answers that are typed there by other people. Additionally, see questions mentioned there by other people. I've got CKP Creative here in the comments and Johan de Paul. Very good to see both of you here. I see we've got a lot of other people. Remember that we are taking questions. We are monitoring the comments. I am looking at all of the things that you say. So keep active, keep questioning away, and I will get to each of your questions between the sections. All right, let's dive straight back in. All right, here we go. So as we've discussed, email prospecting has probably the highest ROI for any marketing channel. It'll cost you no more than a few dollars per month. That's the ideal. There are people out there that will try and charge you a hell of a lot, but that's probably not the way to go, because you can do email prospecting very, very, very economically. So it also gives you one of the fastest results. You'll see how quick the tools work. You can get leads very rapidly with GoPinLeads. You can action those leads extremely quickly with Yam, and you can get results on your approach, on how many people are interested, who's opened your emails. We'll get to all of that a bit later, but it is very exciting stuff. Not everyone knows how to use emails effectively. That's the problem that is often the case, but that's why you're here. You are trying to refine your approach and potentially really boost your ROI, depending on how much effort you put in. There is a process to growth marketing in this way. I'm going to run through it quickly, and I'm going to show you practically as well everything that I show you in the presentation section of this webinar. All right. So the process is to start small. Look at your local area. Identify your target market within your local area and test your approach on them. You want to test absolutely everything that you do, and you want to be able to measure your success or learn from your mistakes. It's important to note what works and what doesn't work, so you can go with the wins and forget the losses and move forward. Replicate your successes and start over again. We say start over again because this is always going to be an iterative process. It's going to be repeated. Depending on your sales cycle, it'll either be repeated daily, repeated weekly. Smaller companies with a more stable repeat client base could even get away with doing it monthly. It depends on your model. So here we go. You need to do some introspection before you jump into this process. It's incredibly important that you are fully self-aware within yourself and within your business and within your offering. You need to plan your offer and ask yourself some really difficult questions. Will your offer interest these people? What is it going to be worth to them? And why is it valuable? Now, those questions may seem similar, but the subtle differences implied there are very powerful. So the first question, will it interest them? That is very, very baseline stuff. That is, will they open it? Will your subject line catch their eye? Will your content make them click through to your landing page? Will you hold their interest, or will they get bored? That's really what we're asking there. What is it worth to them? You're offering them something. You're asking them to disrupt their day and disrupt their process for your offer. So it's got to be worth something. It's got to be worth their time at the very least. It's also got to be worth a lot more than that to them if you want them to click through and actually hold on to what you're offering. Which leads us to question 3. Why is it valuable? If you can, at the drop of a hat, explain why your service, your product is valuable, then your emails are going to be short, they're going to be punchy, they're going to keep people's interest. We'll get to how to write the emails a bit later on, but you'll already be onto a winning formula if you understand completely why your service, your product, your approach, your team, and yourself are valuable to the people that you're emailing. Once again, I cannot stress this enough. None of this should cost you very much, if anything at all. The tools that I'm showing you today are testable for free. And if you are a company of the size that needs to scale up, then that option is there for you too. Test these things out. Don't take my word for them. We do stand behind our product, and we do stand behind this process. So let me know if you've tried it. Let me know what you think. And always stay active in the comments. We don't do the old classic webinar threat of if you don't comment, we'll beat you. We don't do that here, but you are absolutely encouraged to drop the comments in the window there. If you are confused about how to comment, then chances are you're still watching on our GoPinLeads webinar page on our website. So if you are, mouse over your YouTube window, go to the YouTube logo, click that, and it'll launch it through straight into YouTube itself. Then you'll be able to ask questions, and you'll be able to see questions asked by other people as well. I'm just going to allow a couple of seconds for anyone who needs to do that to do such a thing, and then we will continue. If you have any questions, please do take this opportunity to ask them. And if you are a slow typer, never fear. I will come back to your question in the next between section. Okay, let's move on. This is a page of ideas, so I'm going to walk you through them. These are ideas that are going to help you to be relevant, to be interesting, to be valuable. Okay. Number one, your content has to grab their attention, starting, of course, with your subject line. It's got to be interesting enough that they'll open your email. That's the first hurdle jumped. Then you want to have hot burning topic, something of interest, something of relevance, something that is really going to make them read your entire email. You should not be sending these people paragraphs and paragraphs. Don't send them an essay. But what you do want to do is make sure that even though your content is short, punchy, and to the point, that they stick with you and come with you on your train of thought as you go on. Holding people's interest not only means that they may be more likely to click through to your landing page, it also means that there's going to be fewer misunderstandings in your sales process, which is a huge bonus to your sales team, and it kills churn massively. It's a fantastic thing to use. Make sure that your content is short, punchy, to the point, and interesting. You can use jokes if relevant. You can use any mechanism that appeals and appeals or you think may appeal to your target market to keep them reading. Remember that in this day and age, a hard sell doesn't often go over very well. The reason for that, of course, is that as anyone who's been on YouTube at any point realizes, every comedian has a bit about avoiding cold callers. And a lot of people feel the same way, across the world. So if you can be the difference and you can present your cold email in a way that's going to really interest them, then that's fantastic. And that's going to make sure that they open your email, click through to the link, and you get your conversion rate. It comes down to your approach, and the best advice I can give you here is to be authentic within yourself and be authentic with your company culture and your message. Try and present yourself always in the best light, but at the same time, stay true to your ethos. Moving forward to number 2, join a community. Join our community. Those 3 little words are very powerful. Having a Facebook group that people have to request access to join is very useful. It shows a sense of exclusivity. It shows that there is a vetting process. Not just anyone can get into these groups. It also protects these groups from rampant selling. Each group, of course, has its own rules. But there's always an emphasis on community and paying forward and assisting each other. So communities like this have a great reputation, and if there's one that appeals to a need in your niche that you've started, invite people to join. Joining a community gives your clients a real sense of belonging, and it makes them remember you more often. Sure, they get notifications from the group and they can interact and like as they go. And all of these things help them to keep you top of mind all the time. Additionally, use this group to actually be valuable. Have your team members on there answering questions, engaging. Never portray yourself negatively. There have been a few companies recently who have done a few negative social media posts and things like that, calling out people who don't like them and so forth. Try and avoid things like that, to be fair. What you want to always do is make sure that these communities are a safe space where people can come in and join and feel like they are part of something. Moving on. Offering a free trial is a great thing to do as well. There's a comment in the YouTube comments section from CKP Creative, burning the midnight oil there with a pot of coffee. I hope you guys. Now, their comment says, limited offer, rarity. And this ties in really well with the free trial. So your free trial needs to have a few reasons for people to opt in. If you are offering something unique for free that they can try out and test its worth, that's a big one in itself. But as CKP Creative has said, limited offers, introducing rarity, introducing a sense of urgency, FOMO, the fear of missing out. That's really the emotion you want to evoke. It's a really good comment. Thank you, CKP. CKP, what is the name of the person typing from your side? Just so I don't have to keep saying the company name. It's a bit impersonal. I understand that that's the Google account that you're using to watch from, which is absolutely great. But if there's a name that you're comfortable to give me, then that'll be even better. So on the fourth point, joining a webinar. This is what you've done today. You've joined me today to learn something, hopefully, that you find valuable. I know that our previous viewers have found it valuable and really quite helpful. And we interact with you during and after the webinar as well. At the end, I'm going to be giving you my contact details. I'm going to be giving you all the links that we've talked about and a couple of additional helpful resources that are going to help you along the way. So joining a webinar gives you an opportunity to give as much as you can back to your viewers. Look, people take time out of their day, their working business day. If you're CKP Creative, you've taken time out of your night around midnight as well to come in and learn something. That's very powerful. To know that people value this message that much, to stay up till midnight and to really engage in this way, that is always why we do these things. And, you know, it's all good and well to say use the webinar to get people to remember your company and all that. But at the same time, the value to myself and to Goodman Lantern of doing the webinar is insurmountably huge. It's a wonderful thing that we're doing for us as well, because it gives us the opportunity to really understand where you're coming from, the questions that you need answered. And yeah, it really helps us to reach across this technological barrier and just really touch base on a human level. It's really cool. So I would recommend doing webinars. They are good for you, they're good for the clients, they're good for your viewers, they're good all around. Even if they don't convert, you've given people knowledge, you've empowered somebody's future. And if you can do that, they will remember you. And that could come back in the future. It could come back in the form of referrals. It could come back in many different ways. So webinars are a fantastic way to go. Another one on the topic of limited offers and rarity that CKP mentioned there is event invitations. So event invitations are another perfect way to introduce a sense of FOMO, the fear of missing out. For those of you that don't know, FOMO, fear of missing out. So that means that you can use events, those can be live events, Not to be confused with webinars. These could be face-to-face. These could be online events. I mean, they could be Facebook lives. They could be all sorts of things that you want to do. They could be a live Q&A session as well. It's important to keep your mind open, but also remember what's relevant and appealing to your target market. If you are offering people things that they really at a stretch are only going to need, then your click rate's going to be really low. But if you manage to really grab their attention, it's a winner almost every time. Event invitations should have a countdown, should have a deadline, and also you should keep track of how many seats are available and mention that in your reminder emails. I'll cover reminder emails later on as well. Moving on to number 6, digital gifts. These can be various different forms depending on your industry, depending on your product and your service. Databases are a great way to go. Databases are very helpful. Lists, as number 7 mentions there as well, can also be a digital gift. And that is really 2 fantastic examples of true valuable gifts you can give your viewers, your clients, and the people you're reaching out to. The reason you'll want to do this is to not just seem like the generous uncle or aunt. What you would want to do is always have the approach of giving away something because you know it'll be valuable, because you know it represents what you do, you know it represents the value that you stand behind and the worth that your company represents. That will keep people thinking about you, especially if the quality of your database or your list or whatever the gift you've sent is. As long as the quality is optimal, people will appreciate that. Nobody really appreciates being given something that is cheap or free, but being given something that they can really extract value from, that's where you want to be. Remember that also we're always approaching this with an ethical backbone. So you want to be transparent with people as much as possible, and you want to tell them that they're valuable to you, that their time, that their effort, that their consideration is valuable to you. And digital gifts are a great way to go. Just to go deeper on top 100 lists, this is why we've mentioned it separately. This is very broad in and of its own. While it can be an example of a digital gift, it is important to mention that these, I mean, all of us have seen these almost weekly, online, in print. Magazines have top 100 celebrities. Other magazines have top 100 businesses. You have lists online of top earners, top brackets. Top 100 lists are very popular, and they're popular for a reason. They give people a really good way of gauging where they fall in the grander scheme of things, but also where they could be targeting, or where their target markets are. There's a lot of value you can get out of a top 100 list, as long as it's relevant to your target. Okay, so another way to give true, raw value to your clients, to your viewers, is to offer a 30-minute free consultation. The good part about doing that is it gives you one-on-one time with your clients, which is invaluable to you to build your product, build your service, build your competency, do better. People will tell you very honestly when you ask them for an honest answer what they think of your service, what they think of your product, and where you stand in their estimation. So that's what you get out of it, but that's not why we're talking about this. What we're talking about here is what your clients will get out of this, and that is your time, your expertise, your experience. You have a sense of value attached with your name and your position. You've worked long and hard to get to where you are. Step into that worth, step into that value, and own it. That confidence in itself is worth gold because it gives you a firm footing to talk from a sense of authority about the problem that your prospective client is facing. Free consultations return value. They also humble the situation out of a, I'm lording it over you as a big company and you need to grovel to me. It, in a sense, gives you a way to connect on a real human level. You can use humor where appropriate, and always keep an open mind on these calls. You never know where it could lead. You never know where an opportunity could present itself. Keep an open mind. And the most important thing on these calls is to really, really listen. Listen as though you're going to have to repeat what they said back to them in your own words. That's the best tip I can give you on listening. Moving forward, I'm going to show you very quickly the process. Actually, before I dive into that, once again, I'm going to show just for the people who are still watching off of our website, how you can get into the comments, how you can interact with us. You'll see the big red arrow on your screen pointing to the big red circle. Yes, I did this in Paint. You will be able to click on that YouTube symbol within your viewer. It'll launch into YouTube itself. Now, why do you want to do that? Good question. The reason is you'll be able to see questions that other people are asking and ask questions yourself. I have the questions right to my left, and I'll be referring back to those the whole way through. And on that note, CKP Creative, our friends at Midnight on their end, have sent us a message asking for case studies. I will send you a couple of resources right at the end. Hang around for those for sure. And I'll also be sending my email address there. So if you need anything additional at the end, if you want to book a call, if you want to engage, you can do that at that stage. So yes, CKP, I will be giving you your case studies at the end of this webinar in the comment section, which is why it's important to click through to YouTube. Mouse over your viewer, bottom right-hand corner, you'll see the YouTube logo. Just click that and you'll be able to go through and comment. Another comment just in, email template samples, please, from Andrew Randall. Andrew, absolutely, I have got you. Hang around to the end. Social reach, yes, please. Absolutely. Bang, bang. Hang on till the end of the webinar, and I will add those resources in for you along with some case studies so you can check out some real examples after the webinar. Hang around for those after the webinar in the comment section. It'll be right where your comments are appearing now. So yes, Andrew, yes, social reach, yes, CKP, I have got you. Okay, so let's dive in. So this is the last little bit of my presentation section, and I'm going to take you through the practical real quick to show you how that works, and we'll do Q&As as we go through. And all those links and resources and freebies will come at the end. So the process, this is absolutely the backbone, the skeleton of what we're doing here today. First of all, find email addresses. Step 2, draft your email. Step 3, optimize them for a template. Step 4, develop your landing page. Step 5, analyze the data. And step 6, rinse and repeat. As always, you're going to be doing this again, again, and again. That's the way it goes. So find email addresses, draft email, create email templates, develop the landing page, analyze the data, and rinse and repeat. Do it all again. So let's look a bit deeper at each of these before we dive into the practical. And here we've got step 1, find email addresses. So step 1, finding email addresses. GoPinLeads is our tool. GoPinLeads is a fantastic thing that we've built. So let me give you some background on why we built it. We had a client who needed a hell of a lot of results. So we had to go and manually find these and train up a team member to go and find these, and it was going to take a lot of time. So we thought laterally, as we like to do at Goodman Lantern, and we came up with a cheaper, better, faster way to do it. It's more accurate as well, which is a bonus. It's not often that that little trifecta works out, but it has in our case. So GoPinLeads was born, and we managed to get the client the results they needed really quickly. GoPinLeads will give you a few absolutely golden elements in a very, very well laid out database that you can use with the other tools with no changes, which is really good. Really good for activity, no clicking and dragging columns around, none of that nonsense, no time wasted. And that's really the seat you want to be sitting in. So it'll give you company and individual emails. It'll give you phone numbers. It'll give you employee job titles and social media accounts. And it'll give you the brick and mortar addresses of the companies in question. I'm going to show you a little bit more on this. That's going to be in the practical section. For now, I'm just going to mention what is going on here briefly and skip through to step 2. So step 2 is YAM. Yet another mail merge. YAM is going to take the database you've made using GoPinLeads, and it's going to connect through to your Google Gmail drafts and email these people for you. So, benefits of using YAM: you can use your domain or create a new one. You can sign up to YAM, and once you have, it integrates with Google Docs and your Gmail drafts. YAM is a really clever tool in that it actually measures your campaign as well in real time, and it's very quick about it as well. So step 3 is to create an email template. Now, email templates are arguably one of the trickiest aspects to get right. So your subject line should be brief and vague. You need to be very specific, but you also don't want to give away too much in your subject line. So keep specificity for your content within your email body and keep your email subject line intriguing. You need to ask yourself what your message actually is. This comes back to what we mentioned earlier, being absolutely clear on why you're valuable, why you're relevant, and why they should listen. That's going to let you present yourself in the best possible light. Your email shouldn't be too formal. That's important. It should read as if it's from a friend, and try and keep it short critically. You know, keep it personable, keep it light, keep it bubbly if you can, but keep it short. It's very important to keep it short. Nobody has the time in the day to read through a long email. The example you see on your screen there is an example of how long it should really be at its maximum. No one really has much time to read much more than that. And often, and I'm sure you can relate to this in your own practice, if you open up an email and it's really long, if you don't have a real strong sense of perseverance, people often just close the email. Another critical aspect here is to include a link. This link will go through to your landing page, which I'll show you in a moment. But your landing page is where all the magic happens. That's where your conversion occurs. So it's important to have the link. Otherwise, of course, your email campaign is very little point. Now, where you put that link, whether it's in the first or the second email, all depends on, well, a few things. It depends on GDPR, first of all, if you're emailing people in the EU. And it also depends on your product, your target market. If you know that your target market isn't going to respond very well to a link in the first email, then don't put a link in the first email. Use your best judgment, and also play around with this. Split your database into smaller lists if you want to, and you can send a few emails to batches of 10 people at a time, and that'll give you a sense of what copy works, what subject lines work, and you can play around with it and really get a good sense of what you need. So let's move forward. Okay, so if you want to look a bit deeper into your emails, there's a few other things you can do to make sure that your email comes across really professional and is also as useful as you can possibly make it to your client. Look at the example on the right-hand side of your screen there, and have a look at the way it's laid out and look at the content that we've included. This is all, of course, in the section under the sign-off name. So you'd say kind regards or whatever your sign-off line is, your name, and then under that would go the banner. Have a look at the example and think about how it relates to what yours currently looks like. Think about how you could include more information, be more transparent, and more helpful. All right. So here we have an example that you've now had a look at. You've analyzed it a bit. Let me break it down for you. So top of the line, you've got the banner. Ours says glpro.email. The banner is not necessarily an absolute must, but it does help to convey a bit of your message, a bit of your corporate attitude, and it is eye-catching when done properly. So, you know, getting people's attention is always the end game. That is what you want to do, which is why we include it. And we find that people respond well to them, and make sure that you do change them for each of your campaigns. So localize your emails as well. How you do that is to include your addresses, include your contact details. That gives you a real good sense of transparency. People know where to contact you, how to contact you at all times. Develop variations of this and measure the success. That applies really more to the body of your email than the footer, but the footer does also matter. Place different things in different locations. If you have a link to a booking software, you can book me, or Calendly or the like, then you can go ahead and include that. And that's a good thing as an example of what you can play with placing wise within the footer of your emails. Very important is unsubscribe option. So you want to give people the option to get out of there if they want to. If they don't want to hear from you anymore, if they don't feel like you're a good fit, it's not an insult. It's not a bad reflection on you. It's just one of the things that happen with cold emailing. It just means that they're not interested in your message. They're politely letting you know so you don't email them again. So including an unsubscribe option is very, very, very important, and it gives you a better reputation. So often, I know I'm one of these people, if I find that someone doesn't have an unsubscribe option in the email, I feel very weird about trusting them. So yeah, it is potentially, I suppose, arguably a personal quirk, but at the same time, an unsubscribe option is very important, and in some areas of the world it is illegal to exclude it. So yeah, just put it in. It's great for transparency. It's great in all ways. So graphics or links, banners like the one you see there saying glpro.email, that's an example of a graphic link. If you click on that, it'll go through to the page that it refers to, and that will help you to get the targeting that you want. So you'll obviously be running different campaigns with your emails. Some companies run campaigns on a date-by-date basis. So what you'll want to do is make sure that your banner is always relevant to what your email says and to what your current campaign is. Change it all the time. Make sure that it is current. That's a good example of a graphic link. The telephone numbers and the unsubscribe link, those are good examples of text-based links. Those, of course, are very good for numbers and for unsubscribe links for email as well, because then people can copy and paste the email if they prefer, or they can simply click on the email if they their email address if they want to go through with an automation. The thing here is, of course, that use them where appropriate. Potentially email graphics, telephone location graphics could be bulky. They could add to the size of your email, and you want to have a very refined, clean, minimalistic look at all times if possible. So dimensions are important with your email. If it looks cluttery, if it looks confusing, they're not going to be very likely to go ahead and read it. They're going to think it's an amateur source that it came from, and they're going to potentially click away real quick. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have it formatted properly, your text is appropriately sized, and that you have it laid out in a way that's readable without being overly noisy and loud. CKP Creative says, what about graphics blocking? So graphic blocking, yeah, it does happen. In our emails, generally, the only graphic link is the banner. And look, if people lose the banner, it's not really the end of the world, because they do still have the landing page link within the body of the email, which will be a text-based link, ideally. So if there are any graphic blocking programs on the receiver's end, then you can get around it in that way. Follow-ups are very important to your email campaigns. So your email campaigns are not just a one email endeavor. You're going to want to send people reminders, follow-ups, email them again. People who have unsubscribed, don't email them again. People who have emailed you back saying, no, no thank you, go away, we're not interested, please never email us again, any variation of that, don't email them again. Use your best judgment. Anyone that you know has indicated they would not want another email, just move them off your list. And that is the respectful thing to do. That is the only way to go. Anything other than that is really badgering people, and it's not going to put you in their best books. One follow-up email per campaign. If they don't click within 2 emails, they're probably not interested, so move on. Remind them about the deadline that you've included, the sense of FOMO, the fear of missing out, that sense of urgency that we discussed earlier. That I would be very eager to include in every single email. So if there is, it's going to also appear on your landing page, the sense of FOMO, the deadline, but remind them in the email body they might not click through immediately if they don't feel like that there's a pressing need to. Provide them with the link. If they don't have a link, they're not going to go back and find your old email to find the link. Provide them with the link every single time on each email, and that will give you the best way forward. Going back to the comments, I see that CKP Creative and Andrew Randall are discussing Bitly. So yes, they do get blocked sometimes. What we do, like you'll see on the screen here, is the blue link there. It says register now. That's actually in Gmail. You just press a button. I'll show you which button it is when we set up our drafts in the practical. But you can literally set up a register now blue link, and when they click through to that, they will be able to go through to your landing page. So, I mean, we just use Gmail's native functionality there for that. It tidies up your link, but it's also super transparent because if they mouse over, then they can see the URL in full. So, step 4, the landing page. So, landing page is very, very powerful tool when used properly. So landing pages, you can use an HTML server, you can use tool to make it. Tools include things like LaunchRock, Instapage. LaunchRock's the one I'm going to show you later. Your landing page is going to be the place your reader gets to when they click the link in your email. So you want to make this incredibly short, incredibly punchy, incredibly attractive to your viewers. So include an introduction, short to the point. Who are you? What do you do? Why? That's all you really need to say. Keep it relevant, keep it powerful, and remember who you're targeting. You don't have one landing page forever. Your landing pages change per campaign. So make sure that this one is specific to the campaign you're running, specific to the people you're targeting in your campaign. Testimonial, you want to have one. So on this example, you can see there's an image. You can see that there is a name, a title, and there is a position within a company as well. So that's the best way to go. You want to have them always be actual testimonials, verified. So these will be your real clients, people who know you, who've used you, who have actually said this about you. Be transparent, be real with people, show them who they are. Include the quote, include a snippet of the quote if the quote's too long. Include your favorite part of the quote. If you're concerned about editing their quote, send it to them in image form or in text form to say that they're okay with it. There's nothing wrong with double checking, and if you're ever in doubt, just double check. People appreciate it, and it is the way to go. So we mentioned FOMO earlier, fear of missing out. Great way to do this is to have a countdown on the page. You'll also want to have a form to enter name, email, and telephone number. You can also choose, of course, what you want to ask for, but of course, first name and email address is often the bare minimum. Last names are very useful as well, as you can then go ahead and find people that you need to on LinkedIn or wherever the case may be. it is a very useful thing to have the first name, the last name. But of course, you don't have to ask for any of these in particular. Make sure that you do ask for the details that you will need to further your cause and to run the rest of your campaign. So for step 5, this is the data analysis. I'm going to show you how YAM helps us do this. So YAM gives you a breakdown on what worked, what didn't. They do this in a few ways. They do it within YAM itself, but they also email you the results from your campaigns. So you'll want to analyze the data on YAM. Look at how many people clicked the link, how many people even opened your email, and compare that to how many emails you sent out in the first place. You'll want to judge this carefully. So if you've got a poor opening rate, probably you'll find that your subject line's no good. So you'll want to play with a new subject line. If you find people are opening but not clicking through, it means you lost them. You bored them, you didn't get their attention. Something went wrong in the way you communicated your point in the body of the email. So they liked the subject, that got their attention. They clicked on it, they opened the email, but they didn't go through to your landing page. So your body of your email is lacking in that case. So you'll want to work on that. And like I said, break your lists up into smaller batches and just play with it. Send small batches of people different content and see what works best. Again, playing around with it, doing it with a sense of humor and a sense of transparency will make people feel better about you. It'll endear you to your readers and to your clients and to your prospective clients. So always just be yourself and be authentic. That way, when they do meet you, when they do have a call with you, they know exactly what energy you're approaching the situation with. Add-ons, YAM, Open Tracking Report. That is how you get your tracking report in YAM. I'm going to show you, that won't make any sense to you right now, but when you're in Google Sheets, you go to your menu, you click the Add-ons menu, you go down to Yet Another Mail Merge, and you can open your tracking report from your completed campaigns that way. It usually opens automatically, but if it hasn't or you've closed it, that's how you find it again. Step 6 is to repeat, repeat, repeat. And this isn't just to mindlessly do the same thing over and over again. What you'll need to do is adjust your approach and refine your approach and try new things, try new sectors, try new geographical locations, try contacting people within companies who have different job titles. Sometimes VPs, CEOs can get inundated with all sorts of requests, tasks, and issues during the day, challenges that they need to see to more urgently than their email inbox. So try different job titles, try networking a bit within the company and see who responds to your brand of humor the best and who's got the best connections within the company. Offer new incentives with emails and landing pages. So this touches on something that I mentioned earlier, that you are not going to have a landing page forever. You're not going to keep the same landing page forever in a day. You're going to change this per campaign. Each campaign is going to have a new landing page. So you want to keep changing the incentives along with that, your banner within your email. Make it all relevant. Make it all different. Before we jump forwards, I'm going to show you some practical stuff, and then I'm going to circle back to these GoPinLeads hacks, which are going to make your experience even better than it's going to be already. So before I go ahead and do that, I'm going to check on the comments. So full name fields are a pain. Yeah, I wouldn't normally just say ask for the full name in one whack. I'd say ask for it separately if you do want the whole thing. First name, then last name, then email. It all depends, of course, on what's the most relevant for your target. So here is an example of an email that I've written. Now, this copy is not at all what you're going to be sending to your clients. This is, as you can see, something that I'm going to be sending to a database I've made of my co-workers here and my colleagues here at GoPinLeads and Goodman Lantern. And it's just going to be a bit of a nonsense email that says, "Hi, first name, ignore this. It's just the test email from the webinar. I'm using you to show our viewers how YAM works." Clever stuff. So, very cheesy, I know. But how do you get your database in the first place? Well, that's where GoPinLeads comes in, if you remember the explanation part of this presentation section of this webinar. So we have a few different iterations of GoPinLeads, and this is for a few reasons. Some people prefer different iterations of the tool. Some people prefer a Chrome extension. Some people prefer a web app. Also, the tool works better for some things than others. With the web store, with the Chrome extension and versus the web app. Sometimes the web app's better, sometimes the extension's better. So if you want the extension, which I absolutely recommend after this webinar, you'll go and download. I'll send you the URL. You go to the Chrome store and add it to your Chrome. I've already done so, so it says added. We also have GoPinLeads Amphi, our web app. This is the GoPinLeads website where all the magic happens, and this is what the web app looks like. That's app.gopinleads.com, and this is where you can find all of the leads that you need to find. So you go to sign in and get started, and you log in straight away. And what that does is it gives you the opportunity to log in to GoPinLeads and get the leads you need. So as you can see, I'm now logged in. On the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can see it's welcoming me. So here we go. I'm going to do a search, and this is in the web app. In the web app, it's really, really quick, really, really easy. You simply, in the boxes, mention what you are looking for. Over here, I'm going to look for hotels in New York. You then press on Find Companies and Leads, and it goes through to your businesses page. Here you can see a map of the area you've selected, and for this example, I'm going to choose Select All. And not that I have anything against them, just simply for an explanation, I'm going to deselect 4 Points by Sheraton, New York downtown to show you that you can exclude anyone that you don't want to email. For this example, though, I'm going to include everyone and click Add Businesses. Going through to the next page, we have the leads. Here you can also select all as you wish. You can also remove ones that you do not want and reselect them again if you wish. For the sake of this example, I'm going to deselect a few of these just to show you that you can, and go through and add the leads. So when I do this, I'll be able to export the leads through to myself. It'll go through to my email, the email that I signed up with, and it'll go through and find me. So what about the web app, I hear you say? Well, that's really easy. You want to go through to Google Maps, and this is going to be your base of operations for your GoPinLeads Chrome extension. So once you're here, you're going to want to have a look at your search again. And I'm looking for hotels once again, New York NY, USA. Let's see what we can find. So these are all the hotels in that area. I'm going to zoom out a little bit using the Google Maps zoom slider. And that gives me a good deal of results. So I'm going to go into the top right-hand corner of my Google Chrome, and you'll see the GoPinLeads logo. When you mouse over it, helpfully, it reminds you how to do this process. Visit Google Maps and enter a search term like restaurant to start finding leads. So press on the logo, hit get started. And all you do is log in. Well, that's embarrassing. I've gone and forgotten my email, my password rather, sorry. So let's go in and change that. It's really quick. It's really easy to go ahead and do what you need to do on this. If you need to change your password or whatever, it is super fast. So when you forget your email password, it is very quick, very easy to change it when you are in the app. So while I'm sorting that out, I'm just going to go through and show you what it looks like when these emails come through. Just give me one moment. So for my own peace of mind, I'm going to briefly stop my screen share so that I can get across into what I need to get into here, which is my email provider. And that will give me the opportunity to show you what these look like when they come through in database form. Please bear with me for just one moment. So, in the meantime, just going to refer to the questions here. So I see our chief, our leader, our founder has joined us in the comments. Raj has been watching our webinar today and he's responding to CKP in response to your question. I would suggest sending case studies as a sequence of emails. It works much better. So that is cool. Thanks very much for So what I'm showing you here now is what the email looks like when it comes in. So the subject is GoPinLeads Hotels, and this is going to return to me everything that I needed to know about the hotels in that area. So it gives you details of what you were charged and the results that you've gotten. You can download these results. When you click download, what it does is it pops through and downloads it for you. Really quick, really easy. I prefer view in Google Sheets. That option is just below the big yellow download button, and that'll kick you through straight into Google Sheets. And this is what it looks like when you come out to Google Sheets. So you've got 3 tabs. First of all, look at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. You've got the Businesses tab, you've got the Leads tab, and you've got the tab called Leads with no name. Sometimes on this tab, you can extrapolate the first name. Like in this case, you can see that that's Kelsey. You can see that's Valerie, that's Miguel, that's Arne, Elder, Phil, Mark, and so on. For the first one, we know that nobody's called info, so we simply leave that one as is. Let's have a look once again at the email templates. Now, your email templates are going to basically be the real basis of what you're doing here. And let's have a look at our template once again. So this is how we're going to optimize your email for a template. You'll want to include the curved brackets like these ones. Open them, double, close them, double. In the middle, first name. The reason we have first name there is that in your in your Leads tab, you have first name as your column. And this will allow you to automate. So you'll be able to personalize it for Kelly, Sarita, Shirley, Ashley, Julia, Yvonne, Arthur, so on. These people will be able to get an email from you that says, "Hi, Arthur, ignore this," and so on, with whatever the rest of your email body is. So you've got your database. I'm going to go back to my example database. I never want to bother people, so I'm never going to be emailing people that aren't from the company. So here I've got a list of email addresses from our company and one fake one. The process is go to the add-ons option in the menu in Google Sheets, choose yet another mail merge, and give it just a couple of seconds to load through for you. So that's going to load up through and show me the campaigns that I can send through, the draft subjects that I can send using this example. So here we go. Start your mail merge. I want to call this webinar example draft. That's the one I wanted to send out. It's worth checking. Webinar example draft, because like I said, I never want to bother people unnecessarily. So from here, the best thing to do always is to opt for receive a test email. When you choose receive a test email, what it'll do is it will return to you the first name in your database so that you can test if your merge has worked. So if you give it a second or two, it'll come through, and here we've got the webinar draft. And here you've got the personalization that's come through. You see it's replaced first name with Jeff, so that's really good. Hi, I see my screen's not being shared. I'm going to change that for you, and I'll go back and show you all of that. My apologies on that front. Okay, so here we've got the webinar drafts that we discussed. So you have hi first name, and my top copy here is for our team saying ignore this. It's a test email from the webinar. I'm showing showing our viewers how Yam works. So that is the draft that I'm going to be sending out to show you how Yam operates. But before I do that, I'm going to pop through and show you the results page once again, just in case you missed that from GoPinLeads. And I'm going to show you once again how it comes through to you in the form of an email. Here you can see the email that has come through. Now, when we sent the draft, we had first name in the curved brackets, double open, double closed, and that allows you to replace the text first name with, as you'll see in your database, first name to give you the correct person to be sending your message through to. So you can personalize it, which is really good. I'll show you in this over here how in your leads bracket, like I said, when you obviously couldn't see my screen, which I apologize for, your businesses tab, bottom left of your screen, shows you the business information. You've got business names, addresses, phone numbers, Google Maps URLs, website URLs, and then where it's been able to, the social media details. Some businesses, of course, won't have all that social media, so it won't apply. So it gives you also descriptions of the companies. It's all very inclusive. Then you go through to the leads page. This includes names, last names, business names, job titles, email addresses, LinkedIn details, websites, and brick and mortar details as well. So here you'll see first name in the top. And that is going to be why we're changing our draft to say first name, because it's going to replace first name with Kelly, Sarita, Shirley, Ashley, Julia, Ivona, Arthur, and so on. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to click add-ons in Google Sheets and choose yet another mail merge. Then you choose start mail merge. Give it a couple of moments to load through and choose the draft that you want to include. Then I always like to receive a test email. When you've sent the test email, this is what you'll receive. It'll always replace the name in your test email. You'll always get the first name in your list. So in this one, if you look in the background here, it's a bit faded because I've got this other window open, but it says Jeff. If you go back through to my emails, you'll see it says, hi, Jeff, ignore this. It's just a test email from the webinar. So now that I know that I'm happy with my test, I'm going to click send for emails, and I'm going to action it to this list. Your lists can be as small as this. They can be 10 long. They can be hundreds of people long. It depends on the level that you've purchased in Yam. Yam up to 50 emails a day is free, and then it's, I believe, 24 a year if you want 400 a day. So here you can already see that one of the emails has bounced. This is already opened up the Yam tracking report. Now, why is that bounced, you may ask? The reason is that I put in a fake email address, fake@noaddress.com, with the first name fake and the last name fake, to show you what happens when something bounces. So it also shows you the reason. If you mouse over, the comment says address not found. You'll also notice that I sent this one, my email address is the first one in the list that went out. So it'll come through to me as well. And when I click this, it'll show up. If I had a link in here that I was to click as well, that in here would show email opened and clicked. So that's really how quick and easy it is to use Yam. Yam is ridiculously quick that way. It'll show you straight up what you need and when you need it, with no delay. And it really is in real time. Like you saw, the email bounced and it came up. I opened the email, and immediately when we came back to the sheet, it was already up. Okay, so apart from the screen share glitch there. I see that there's no other questions in the comments. If you want to ask anything, please feel free to go ahead and do that. The way you do that is go through to your viewer if you're still watching on the website and click on YouTube. That'll boost it through into YouTube itself, and you'll be able to interact and ask questions. The way you get hold of yet another mail merge is to go into the Chrome store and add it to Sheets that way. You can see I've already installed mine. I'll include this link as well. This is the YAM website where you can see more of your details of your campaigns. And when in doubt, and you don't know how to find yet another mail merge, simply type YAM into Google and it'll come up. Also, in the explainer area section of this webinar, I mentioned LaunchRock. Now, LaunchRock's a great way to take advantage of powerful landing page software and really make your conversions matter. All of the elements that we discussed in our webinar, you can include in a LaunchRock page. I see there's no further questions, so I'm going to launch straight into the GoPinLeads hacks section of our webinar today, and I am going to walk you through some ways that you can get even more accurate results using GoPinLeads. So, number one is to subtract irrelevant leads. Sorry for my stutter. Use the minus prefix to remove keywords you don't want. You may have done this in a Google search if you are a intermediate to more advanced Google searcher. You use the minus prefix to remove keywords that you don't want. I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. So you can do this in the web app. You can also do this in the Chrome extension. So in the Chrome extension, you do it straight away in the map. So you would go hotels near you, New York, USA. But if I wanted to exclude motels, if I wanted to exclude, say, backpackers, I would put the minus symbol followed by the word I want to exclude, the keyword that I want to exclude. Just going back to a question here from CKP Creative. Yes, absolutely. You can export as a CSV to use in other CRMs. To show you what that would look like, you go through to the email that you got sent from GoPinLeads. And essentially what that does is it allows you to click on the big yellow button, and that will allow you to download that. You can convert that. I believe it downloads as XLS, but you can always download that as a CSV. Alternatively, you can open it into Google Sheets as we've done here. Here's the yellow button I was referring to for your download results if you want to download it XLS. And below that is your Google Sheets. If you want to download a CSV from Google Sheets, you can go download as, go across, and you can select options like CSV here, comma separated values, and that'll allow you to download this as a CSV, and that'll save you having to convert it on your machine as it is. This is a lot quicker. It's the way I prefer to do it. You may be slightly different in your approach, but everyone has their own ecosystem on the computer, don't they? All right, so here you can see again, another one of my colleagues has opened the email and it has changed to email opened. So that's fantastic to see as well, that you can see once again YAM in real time working. So let's move on to GoPinLeads hack number 2. GoPinLeads hack number 2 is to use your reviews. So niche searches work best using Google Maps and the GoPinLeads Chrome extension. I remember I mentioned this earlier to you. And the reason is that the tool searches through reviews and that boosts the accuracy. That's why I did the hotels in the Chrome extension itself, because that would allow me to utilize any Google reviews and make sure that any additional details in there would be taken into account by the AI, and that would allow us to have even more accurate results. Let's move on to number 3, hotels and accommodations. So I did this in the web app as well. because it is a bit of a crossover. But here in the web app, it allows you to really make sense of what what the leads are intrinsically without any interference, because what you may find is that there's a difference between the hotel list from the web app and from the Chrome extension, because Google has removed data to make money selling rooms, and that's something that they're rolling out to a greater extent. So number 4, city discrepancies. So this is a fix if you're finding leads that are not from the same city. So what you'll want to do is add the city name in the filter box alongside the country name. So what I'll show you how to do that real quick is I'll show in the web app. So while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look for something really, really basic. I'm going to look for restaurants, and I'm going to look in London, UK. I'm going to go through to the businesses page. So essentially, just to remind you, what we're doing here is that we are using an additional filter to fix getting leads that are not from the same city. So we want to go through to the tool itself. You want to go through to the boxes that you're searching in, and you want to make sure that you are inserting the location that you're after. So restaurants, London, and make sure that those are coming up in London, nowhere else. That's the way you do it. We're nearing the end of the webinar session today, so I want to welcome you all to ask any questions that may be on your mind as of now. And I want to thank you all for your participation today. My email address is jeff.a@goodmanlantern.com. I'm going to pop all of these in the comments for you. In order to do that, I'm going to be switching off the screen sharing, but don't panic, I am still here. And what that means is I'm going to be dropping you the links that you can use in order to make the most use out of what we've done today. So you can do exactly what we've done, so you can find everything super easily. Also, if you want to receive this webinar after the fact, if you want to share it with somebody who hasn't watched it potentially, what you want to do is pop me an email. I'm writing my email address in the comments section now. Pop me an email there, and then I will be able to interact with you, help you, respond to you, and you can book a call with me as well if you want some one-on-one case-by-case time. Then I'm going to send you as well all of the links for today's webinar, so you can be fully up to date with everything that you need all the time. So first of all, I'm going to give you the URLs to the Facebook groups that Goodman Lantern has. So these are 2 different Facebook groups. The first one I'm going to give you is our GoPinLeads community, and that's a really great place to go and find help, advice, and just general great community chat about the environment that we have with GoPinLeads. You can see hacks there. You can see all sorts of great stuff. So I'd recommend that you go ahead, if you haven't already, and join the GoPinLeads community on Facebook. It's a really good, really active community, and everyone does care a great deal about getting you the answers that you need. Also, if you want some help with your content, if you want some help with your leads, if you want some help with your sales process, you can go through and join our Sales, Leads, and Pro Content Facebook page. I'd recommend, that's our Facebook group rather, I'd recommend you go and do that, because even if you do fancy yourself a bit of a professional, You can always improve. There is always room for improvement. There are always more ways to polish what you do and to become more of a professional. Becoming a consummate pro and becoming renowned for what you do is, of course, where we want to end up. So as you know, this is the link where you can watch webinars that we do in future. We do these once a week, always at the same time, same place, and that gives you the opportunity to invite your sales force, your colleagues, your friends, and get them involved in what we're doing here today. Get them involved in GoPinLeads and get people talking. Because really, if you want your friends to do well, you need them to be able to get leads and convert. I've given you the link there to the Chrome extension for GoPinLeads as well in the web store for Chrome. I'm also going to give you the link through to the web app for GoPinLeads so that you can sign up to GoPinLeads, play around with the app, and really compare the two. Play around like with that example I mentioned with the hotels to see the difference in the leads. Also, I'm going to give you the details for yet another mail merge. Now, this is the link to the Chrome store where you can add yet another mail merge to your sheets. Really quick, really easy, should just be one little click once you've gone to the link to add that across. I'm also going to give you the link to yet another mail merge Yams website so you can get that bookmarked. And we're also going to give you, nowhere near the end of the links here, going to give you lots and lots of resources, launch rocks, URL. Now, what I also want to make sure that you have, I want to make sure that you have all of the tools that you need at your hands to be able to get your email campaign up and running. So I'm going to show you some email marketing template examples here. Now, those are on the GoPinLeads website. You can go through, click on the link, and check them out. That will give you a really good idea of some templates that work like a bomb. Then we've also got some additional resources in the form of the, let me just refer back to the comments here. We had some comments here asking for some resources. I always want to deliver on what I've asked you, what you've asked for. That was case studies from CKP. I'm going to give you those case studies as well for the way that GoPinLeads has been helping people. Okay. There you can see some of our success stories with GoPinLeads, some people who have used it, who have really found some successes and managed some powerful things. So I'm having a look at the questions in the comments. I don't see any more comments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to love you and leave you. And I'm going to once again just give you, it's in the comment section as well, but I'm going to give it to you once again, my email address so that you can reach me and you can discuss anything that you have question-wise or needs-wise after the call. If there's anything that you feel I haven't addressed yet, if you want the URL to watch this again later, hit me up on my email address, and I will definitely respond to you very, very rapidly indeed. Thank you all for coming today. It's been absolutely fantastic speaking with all of you, and I wish you happy lead hunting. Cheerio.